Polynomial long division. So when we do polynomial long division, we're going to follow the exact same steps that you did when you did long division in, is it third grade, fourth grade? Long time ago. Okay.
Third grade.
You do need to understand which value goes outside the house and which one goes inside the house. You know what I'm talking about whenever I start talking about the house? Okay. So the number that's being divided by, this is what goes outside, right? Okay. So this is 712 divided by 5. Those of you watching the video, we're also working 712 divided by 5. Okay. Y'all are not entertained. All right, so I'm going to set up my division. Did y'all have that already? I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to record. I'm going to set this up. Now, here's the important thing. You have to be neat with this. If you're not neat with this, you're going to mess up. You also have to have what we call placeholders. I'm going to go back for just a second and I'm going to show you something. Notice this polynomial. I'm missing something in terms of exponents. I've got the 4, I've got the 3, but I'm missing the power of 2. So I'm going to insert a 0x squared to hold the place of the x squared part. It's not changing the value, but I need a squared column in my division here. So this is going to be 3x to the 4th minus 5x to the 3rd plus, here's my placeholder, 0x squared plus 4x minus 6. Now, we're going to follow right along with this 712 divided by 5, step by step, doing the same steps with our polynomial that we are doing with the numbers up here. Okay, y'all ready?
No. All right, give me a run. Ah, you're good. This is very long.
You good, Wilson? Okay. Tell me this, if you were explaining to someone who had never ever in their life did long division what to do first, what would you tell them to do first? You're exactly right. How many times does 5 go into 7? 1, and then you put it where? Above the 7. All right, before you do anything else, let's take that same thought process and apply it here. I'm only going to look at first terms, though. You know how if this was a big number, you kind of look at the first number? Okay. How many times does x squared go into 3x to the 4th? 3x squared. In other words, what do you multiply x squared by to get 3x to the 4th? 3x squared. Everybody agrees? Yeah. I'm going to put that in this squared column. What? That's the only part that's a little bit different. Okay? It's going to stay. But it's the same here. This is going to be the hundreds column, the tens columns, the ones columns. Match the exponents together, yeah.
Oh.
So everything in this column, as we go down, is going to be powers of 2. Okay? Everything in the column beside it's powers of 1 and so on and so forth.
Wait, so 3x squared.
It'd go with 1, so it'd be x, wouldn't it? No, wait, I'm so lost.
Okay.
Wait.
You're trying to jump ahead is what you're doing. All right. Do you understand where the green 3x squared came from?
No.
Okay. What do you multiply x squared by to get 3x to the 4th?
3x squared.
Yes. That's all I want you to understand right now. Okay? You're trying to jump ahead. Don't try to jump ahead just yet. Look back at this problem. Remember, you're explaining it to someone who has never, ever done it before. You're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead. You multiply, right? You multiply here and you write it here, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm. Okay.
You know that's what you do.
You just yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this around, but look, there's a lot of stuff out here, right? It's got to multiply to everything. So think about it like a distribute problem, like 3x squared times x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, so it's got to hit them all. It's got to multiply to everything. So when we do this, we get, remember, keep them in the right columns. 3x squared times x squared is
4x. Oh yeah, 3x.
right?
Of course.
3x squared times negative 3x, negative 9x to the third, and 3x squared times 5,
15x squared.
same thing I did here. Okay?
Then you subtract.
Is everybody with me?
Yes.
No, Palmer was wrong.
I went no. I was.
You're gonna, if you're confused, I promise the repetition of this by the time we get to the end, because you'll see we're fixing to start repeating. All right, when you get here, what do you do?
Subtract.
Subtract. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Here's where you have to be very careful. Remember when we did subtraction of polynomials? Yep. If you're a same change person, then same change everything.
Do we have to?
Okay? You do not have to, just watch those signs carefully. So what do you get?
0, negative 14.
The first ones cancel.
Oh, I forgot I knew that too.
Joe's distracting me. Negative 5x cubed minus negative 9x cubed. 4x to the third. If you're a same change, plus, plus. Minus 15x squared.
But if you don't, you're just adding a 9.
I didn't change it, but if you did change it, you would get this, 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 and this. So negative 5x cubed plus 9x cubed.
Okay. No. Alright. Yeah. Got it. Good.
All right. What do I do now? Subtract and bring down the next number, right? Yeah.
I got negative 14x squared.
Negative 5x cubed minus negative 9x cubed.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You see? All right, bring down the next one. 4x. Now, what do you do?
We have to
Do we have to break down minus?
Not yet, just one at a time, just like here.
Okay.
Okay?
And then we gotta see how many times 5.
You do it all again, right? How many times does 5 go into 21? And you write it up here. So I'm going to do the same thing. How many times does x squared go into 4x cubed? You put that in the x column. It's positive, right? And now the process starts all over again. 4x times x squared is what? 4x times negative 3x. And 4x times 5. Subtract.
Alright.
Okay, let's hold up right here. I'm going to pause. Now, let's subtract. These cancel. If your first ones don't cancel, you've done something wrong, because that's the whole point, is that they cancel. Negative 15x squared minus negative 12x squared.
3x.
Negative 3x squared
Because it's minus
minus 16x.
plus.
Look, negative 15x squared minus negative 12x squared. If you have to come over here and write it, come over here and write it. Negative 15x squared minus negative 12x squared. Okay?
And that gives you 16x?
Yes.
Oh,
That doesn't
Now back to the same process all over again. Bring it down and start over. X squared times what gives you negative 3x squared? Negative 3. Multiply around. Negative 3 times x squared first is negative 3 times negative 3x is positive 9x. Negative 3 times 5,
Negative 15.
subtract. That's why I kind of have pushed through some of your frustration, because I know it's going to click. It just takes seeing it and doing it enough. Okay?
I
think I get it. So the first
I got
3x
25
squared
x plus 9.
is what you can take out of that.
Is what, yeah.
Okay, so from.
Negative 16x minus 9x is negative 25x. Negative 6 minus negative 15 is positive 9. Is that right? Now, I need to stop here for a second because I need to go back to my problem on the board. And I'm going to finish because I've got something left. There's nothing else I can multiply x squared by to get negative 25x. It's the remainder. So, here I've got 20, subtract 1, 2, goes in 2, 10. My remainder on this problem is 2. Now, back in the day, you wrote R2, right? Or maybe you threw a decimal and you started adding zeros, right? We're not going to do all that. Tell me another way. Hopefully some teacher somewhere tell yes, a fraction, right? Do you agree that this is the same thing as saying with a 2 over 5? Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take our remainder, which is 25, negative 25 over 9, and we're going to say plus negative 25x plus 9 over x squared minus 3x plus 5. This is the answer.
Okay, we gotta figure it out.
I'm going to hit record here and go with it. All right. This one's a little bit longer because I'm dividing by a smaller polynomial on the outside. So it's going to take me a few more steps to get through. That's okay. Y'all can do it. Make sure you check for placeholders. All right. Always first terms. First terms always. Okay. What do you multiply x by to get x to the third? X squared, right? So it needs to go in the squared column. Tell me what to do.
X squared by x minus.
X squared times x is x squared times negative 2.
2x squared. Wait, what
You're telling me and then saying, wait, I don't know.
I thought I said it to the wrong one.
No, you did it right. All right, subtract. The color looks like Pepto-Bismol. All right, first ones cancel, as they should, because that's the goal, right? Good job, y'all. See, it's not as bad as it looks. This is one of those things that looks terrible, but at the end of the day. Is anybody terribly confused at this point? Okay. Pretty close to terribly, maybe just confused and just not terribly confused.
Well, like I said, I understand this, but if I waited about 5 minutes, I wouldn't.
I can do whatever.
All right, Wills, what do you multiply x by to get 7x squared?
7.
Okay, so put that here. Now what do you do with it?
Multiply.
Yes. Multiply it around. 7x times x is? And 7x times negative 2 is? I'm subtracting.
No, 7x.
Positive 7x, because 7x minus negative 14x is positive. What do I do? Bring the 2 down. Pepto-Bismol and mustard. What do you multiply x by to get 7x? 7.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Wait, time out.
It should be 21x, right?
Negative 7x minus negative 14x.
Wait, I thought you already did this.
I didn't change. No.
Yeah, I kinda like it. I got it.
Got it. I told you. When it clicks, it clicks.
So what do you have to put 12 over?
7x.
All right, you told me 7 here, I'm gonna put it. So yes, 7x, what's the next one?
Plus 2.
Minus 14.
Plus 5.
What, Joseph?
Oh, yeah, it's
So it'd be 16.
There's nothing else. So everybody always asks, how do you know when you're done? Well, there's nothing I can multiply x by to get 16, right? So I'm done with that part. That means that is my, what is it? It starts with an R? Remainder. So I do plus 16 over.
Minus 2.
And I'm done.
Sir.
Yay!